God's larger story in our work. And the main topic today we have is focusing on transforming workplace. But as you think about it, really workplaces don't transform, people do. And so we have an opportunity today to talk about how God can work in our lives so that we can change, and as a result, the people around us will be impacted as a result of that. So we have the privilege today of having with us Raeylyn VanPelt, and so everybody give Raelyn a warm welcome. So Raelyn, glad you could be with us, and
thank you.
Why don't you tell me what is your current vocation?
I am a corporate chaplain / an executive life coach. That's the title of what I do. What that means is, in some instances, I am free to use the word chaplain and to go in and care for people, and it's accepted that way. But as you know, that the word chaplain can be very religious sounding. So I am a business and life coach. So that's not as threatening to some people. So I'm able to go in and help people with business strategies, whatever that may look like. I have some of that background, but it's always from a biblical perspective. And eventually we may be working on a bottom line thing or sales training or leadership development, but we always get to the life part. And that's where the chaplain side comes in. They're really the same thing. It's just a different title.
And I can tell you enjoy what you do, don't you?
You know, I do. There are days when I wonder why I'm doing this, but the majority of them I can say it's truly, I feel very blessed to be able to do what I'm doing.
And you've been doing this for a while too, right?
2001 is when I started doing this. I was in the corporate world. I managed employment agencies. So I worked with a lot of different industries and kind of specialized in some areas of like migration. When large corporations would move into San Antonio, I would go in and help them set up employment, get their employees built up and staffed through temporary and a lot of perm placement and stuff like that. So I learned a lot. I didn't really realize at the time that was all setting me up for something else.
Yeah. Well, when you and I have talked before, I know there was a period when you were making this transition to what you're doing now where you were kind of going through a hard time, and there was somewhat of a spiritual awakening that you experienced at that point.
I was at home. I just had some surgery. I'd been with the company for over 20 years. So I was at home and I'd had some surgery, so I had to be still. I couldn't really do anything. And it was at that moment I was in my quiet time, and I was really a fairly new Christian. I didn't become a Christian until 1994 when me and my husband got married, but I was sitting there in my quiet time and I heard as clear as we're sitting here today, it's time to leave. And I really didn't get what that meant at the moment, because I didn't go into it planning on leaving my job. I mean, it was a pretty good job. It paid pretty good and all of the good stuff that looked well. So it really didn't make sense to me, and I did hear it again. I was not obedient at the time. I went back to work. And it was made perfectly clear that it was time for me to leave. And I told my husband, I said, I heard God say it's time to leave. And he said, if that's God you're hearing, you better obey. So I did. And that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And it didn't make much sense. We had a daughter just fixing to go into college. It didn't make sense.
So the direction that you were heading at that point in time, you didn't really have a clear-cut idea of what it was going to look like? Or
No,
what you
I
were
was